Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another exciting episode of Trigger Warning Radio. I am your host, the Kaiju Conservative. A little bit of a late morning upload for me, but I recorded something on my phone last night at work, and I did not like how the sound turned out on it, so figured I'd try recording it on my computer to see if I could get a better sound out of it. So anyway, George H.W. Bush, the 41st President of the United States, is dead at the age of 94. Now, the former president had numerous health challenges over the last couple of years. His wife Barbara had died last year, I believe it was, and he finally just succumbed to everything that he had been dealing with for the last couple of years. He's had a rough go of it. So now, of course, we are getting the standard period of mourning. We're going to have a state funeral. George Bush's body is going to lie in state at the Capitol for a number of days as well. All honors befitting a former president of the United States. And of course, now we're also getting the standard requisite outpouring of emotion from both sides of the political spectrum on the right and the left. People are talking about, how much respect they had for George H.W. Bush and remembering his remarkable life and so on and so forth and blah, 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 blah. One point I wanted to make about that, you've got a lot of people on the left, a lot of Democrats, a lot of leftist pundits in the media talking about their high regard for George H.W. Bush. Don't buy it for a second. These people hated this man. He was a Republican, so that automatically means he's a racist Nazi bigot. Plus, he's the father of the man who was literally Hitler until literally Hitler was elected president again in 2016. Of course, by that I mean President Trump. They hated George H.W. Bush during his first campaign. They hated him during his presidency. They hated him during his second campaign. They hated him after as well, and did nothing but trash him over on the left for years and years and years like I said, as a racist, bigoted, homophobe. The standard attacks on the Republicans. So don't buy it when a leftist tells you, "Oh, George Bush was such a great guy. I had such respect for him." No, they didn't have any respect for him at all. The only reason why they're coming out about and saying how much respect they had for George W. Bush. The only reason why they're making these platitudes is because George H.W. Bush, of course, hated President Trump, just like every member of the Bush family. He absolutely loathed, I don't know why that was so hard to get out. It's a little too early in the morning, I guess. But he absolutely loathed the man to the point where he voted against him in 2016. George Bush actually admitted that he did vote for Hillary Clinton over President Trump, and of course his family, his kids, Jeb and George W, have made no bones about how little regard they have for our current president of the United States. Which leads me into my next point and the premise of this video, which is essentially that George H.W. Bush's funeral and the period of mourning is going to be an opportunity for yet another NeverTrump lecture, just like we had with John McCain's funeral. So Bush is obviously big NeverTrumpers. Not quite the public face of NeverTrump. I would say that was more John McCain, and now that's more Jeff Flake and Ben Sass and Bill Kristol and all of them. But they're definitely seen as scions of the NeverTrump movement. And of course their guest list for their funeral is going to be a who's who of leftists and globalists and GOP establishment types, and NeverTrumpers are going to be among them. So I'm going to call it right now. I haven't seen any details about the funeral. I haven't seen the guest list or anything like that, but I am going to go ahead and make a couple of predictions about that funeral. The main prediction, of course, is, like I said, it's going to be used as an opportunity to lecture us about the current state of politics in the nation. We're going to be treated to tales about George Bush's his attitude that he had, and his willingness to reach across the aisle and work with the other side, and how he was always polite and so on and so forth, and he was the man befitting the dignity of the office of the presidency, with the implication being that our current president is none of that, of course, and needs to change or needs to be replaced. I think we're going to see NeverTrumpers use this funeral to try and buoy their movement a little bit. I don't think it's going to work out very well, because the NeverTrump movement is pretty much dead at this point. There's a few holdouts. You got Bill Kristol, you got Jeff Flake, who's being a royal dumbass, just like he usually is, and you got Ben Sass. But by and large, the NeverTrumpers are being forced out of the Republican Party. Most of them retired. The ones that didn't, a lot of them lost their elections this past midterm. So we're seeing the NeverTrump wing of the party, of the Republican Party, slowly but surely shrinking. But they're going to use Bush's funeral to try and shore up their numbers just a little bit, and again, lecture all of the country about the choice they made in 2016. I don't think we're going to go as far as seeing somebody, what we saw at John McCain's funeral. I don't think we're going to see one of the Bush kids or one of the Bush grandkids or even great grandkids getting up on national television and literally sneering over the choice that was made in 2016 and sneering as they subtly mention the current president of the United States and how he doesn't comport himself with the dignity that the office requires, and so on and so forth. Of course, that's a reference to Meghan McCain. We're not gonna see that. I think the Bushes have a bit more class than the McCains do on that regard, but we are definitely going to see very subtle and some not so subtle hints that President Trump is not worthy of the office that he currently holds. And it's a shame, because George Bush really did lead a remarkable life. I mean, the man was a bona fide war hero, and that's what his funeral should be about. It should be a celebration of his life and a celebration of his accomplishments, not another opportunity to attack President Trump from the left and from the NeverTrump side, but I'm willing to bet that's exactly what we're going to see. Hey guys, thanks so much for listening. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Do you think I'm right and George Bush's funeral is going to be seen as yet another opportunity for the NeverTrump wing of the GOP to lecture us on the direction of the country? Let me know in that comment section. As always, if you liked what you heard, leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Both those things help me out quite a bit, and I will see you all next time.